Hello everyone, my name is Patrick Hajayandi and I work at the Institute for Justice and Reconciliation as a senior project leader, and I work mainly on the Great Lakes region. Today I would like to share with you a bit about my new report, which as you can see is called the Wounded Memories, Perceptions of Past Violence in Burundi and Perspectives for Reconciliation. Wounded Memories is a report and a result of a research that we conducted between 2017 and 2018 in Burundi, and was aimed to become like a contribution to the work of dealing with the past, which is being carried out in Burundi, principally by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which has been in a way re-established, because the first one, which was established in 2014, did not work very well because of the political crisis which was in the country. And at the end of the term, they had no real report to present. So the government of Burundi and the parliament established a new Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which is currently working on a number of topics, including the memorialization, the mapping of mass graves, and the rewriting of the history of Burundi. So the report that we have today is part and parcel of this broader project related to dealing with the past in Burundi. So the report presents the result of the work which has been done by a number of organizations and their staff. This includes as I said, the Institute for Justice and Reconciliation, which is based here in South Africa, but also a local organization called the Institute for Scientific Research for Development, which is based in Bujumbura at the Hope Africa University. So we have been working with a number of young people, mainly students from various universities in Burundi, who contributed to this research work. So now, what is the content of the report? The report is mainly an account of the long history of Burundi, a history of violence, which turned violent mainly after Burundi became independent. Let's say since 1961, when the first prime minister was assassinated just a few weeks after his appointment. Then later, the political vacuum left by his death led to infighting within his ruling party, and later the political conflict turned ethnical, and so since 1965, which means just 5 years later after the death of the prime minister, the conflict really took an ethnical stance when a number of political leaders were assassinated or imprisoned due to this ongoing struggle for power. So the report starts with a historical background where we discuss the different events which led to a past of violence in the country. The main events include the 1965, as I said, with the assassination of, let's say, the elimination of political opponents based on the ethnic affiliation. And then there was the 1972 mass killings, which actually many describe as a genocide against the Bahutu in Burundi. This genocide was committed by the then President Captain Michel Michombero with his government. Of course, there is some version according to which the killings started with the massacre of Batutsi in the south of Burundi, but so far no one has been able to point out who was the leader of this so-called the Hutu rebellion in the south, and what was this movement, apart from the involvement of the Congolese rebel group called the Mai Mulele, which is often evoked during these massacres in 1972. The other event which is also subject to controversies is the ethnic killings which took place in the north of Burundi in two main districts called Ntega and Marangara, with a number of people being killed. And lastly, the violent event which took place in 1993 with the assassination of the newly elected President Melchior Ndadaye, which led to mass ethnic violence and later to a severe conflict, leading also to the creation of some rebel movement. This war will stop between 2000 and 2003 after a lengthy peace negotiation in which the former South African President Nelson Mandela brokered the peace process and also helped in signing what is today known as the Arusha Peace and Reconciliation Accord. So the findings of the report show that the country of Burundi all the society in Burundi has been hugely affected by all the violence which occurred in the country. The report shows between 79 to 94% of all responded, they say that they have been affected by the violence in different ways. First, as victims themselves, because some of them lost their loved ones or their properties, and also as people who have been traumatized by all the violence that they witnessed. The report also shows that there is a need to address the past, because there is a tendency within the country when some say there is no need to dig up what is rotten, while the other side say that we need to address the past, because if we do not address it, it will remain with us. So, but the majority of people, as shown in our findings, say that there is a need to address the past in a different way. So the first idea is that people who committed some of the crimes should go out and confess about what they did in order to receive some forgiveness. Although forgiveness is dominating, it is really imperative for most of people who insist on it that the perpetrators go out and ask for forgiveness, acknowledging all the crimes that they have committed. The other thing is that within the report we notice that there is a way that memory is transmitted from the older generation to the young generation, which is perpetuating or fueling the tendency to violence. And this is another reason why there is a need to address the past in order to break this cycle of violence in the country. So a suggestion to how the past could be addressed, some of the respondents said that there is a need to agree on a common date where Burundians will come together and commemorate together, remember their loved one who lost their lives during the violence. And also there is a need to erect a common memorial for all the victims of violence in Burundi. So those are some of the key findings, but for better understanding, of course, for anyone interested, you have to go and read all other suggestions from the report. So for any additional information, we would like also to invite you to visit our website, which is called burundimemory.org, where you can get some additional information on our project on memory in Burundi and any other information that you may need to know on the country. Thank you.